Hello, and today I am going to be looking at and reviewing the Oddsey 2, a system that I've thought about getting for a while, and then eventually it was time to get something for my birthday, and I couldn't think of anything else, so I got an Oddsey 2. Now the Oddsey 2, I can't bring it up to the camera. It has wired-in controllers, and that's bad enough. And the AV cable is wired. Well, it's not even AV cables, but the cable that goes to the television you screw in, and that was a pain to screw in already, and having to get behind that television. So I'll just try to show you it as well as I can. Now, this console does have an obvious, I don't know if you can see it, but it does have all these letters. It's like a keyboard, almost, of sorts. I don't know if you can even see that, but look up a picture of the Oddsey 2 and you will see that it has a keyboard. I'm really sorry I can't show the game. I am going to be showing games, but I can't show the system very well. Now, the controllers are basic Atari 2600 controllers. You got your joystick, and the only button on it says action. And it's weird. Now, these are very short, so bring this a little bit closer. It does have notches, if you've ever seen a controller, so it kind of goes, so you can only be going in one direction. It's really not that good. I don't like it. You kind of have to bump over the notches. Anyway, this system was obviously designed to be played like right at your feet. When you sit down, have that right on your feet. Because first of all, the cable to the television is as long as anything. But that doesn't make it a bad video game system. So there are a few games that I really like for the system, and I think it's really good. Now, a game that actually has some interesting history is MC Munchkins. It sounds terrible, but it's not that bad. Basically, you're Pac-Man, and you're going around a Pac-Man type of arena to get pellets, but every time you move, the screen goes black, so you have to memorize where all the walls are. Pellets don't go black, you don't go black, and the ghosts don't go black, but the walls do. So, games, well, another thing about that is that it was, Namco thought it was too much like Pac-Man, so they sued and had that game taken off shelves. So, that's interesting, but another cool thing, just turn that off, is this. Now, it is a pretty neat game, but there's nothing special about the specific. Well, let me just show you. So some carts, as you can see, would have multiple games, but instead of having a title screen, you would basically insert cartridge into the Oddsey 2, power it on, which there is no power light. So if you're not hooking this up to a television, it's really hard to tell if it even works. So there will be 0 through 9 at the very top layer of all the numbers and letters and stuff. And it'll say, like, press 1, press 2, or press 3 to choose a certain game. In games that only have one game on them, you still have to hit something. Like it says, press 0 through 9. So you still have to press something, even if there's only one game on it. So, like I said, controllers are wired in. I really hate that, like in television. Could very easily break. But the Oddsey 2 isn't all that bad. Now, another cool thing about their cartridges is that these metal pieces slide up when you push it in, and they basically cover up, but then they can slide down once you push down on them to expose the motherboard, which reads the game. So, now the Oddsey 2 it tried to be futuristic. As you can see, its name is like popping out, like projecting up big. It's really kind of 80s style. And the Odyssey 2, it is a very interesting piece of history, even though it was a failed gaming console. I'll be looking at some of the games. Is that... Hold on. Sometimes it doesn't show the best picture of the game. Wait. Alright, that should be good enough. Alright, so this is Speedway. I am going to do skill 1 because I am not very skillful. Now, you might think the first controller is always player 1, but you're going to be disappointed because sometimes the second controller is player 1. So you gotta guess with this system. I'm not very good at this game, and it's weird because I've actually done surprisingly well on this before. Alright, well, in a nutshell, that's Speedway. There's no other levels. I doubt it. It's pretty much just this. There is a reset button, but you really can just turn it off and turn it back on. Now it says press 2 or 3 to play Spin Out. Gotta press 3, skill level 1 once again. Alright, now this is a 2-player game. And, so you can race with your friend, and if you hit the action button, you go faster. But if you hit anything, you just spin. You don't die, you just sit there. Yeah, I don't think... Can you? I don't think you can die or actually get permanently damaged. I think it just slows you down. So, this is Speedway. But now there is another really good game. I didn't get to check if that showed well on there. Press 4. Now this is a very interesting game. You will need to have the console at your feet or be standing like I am and have a very high chair. You could do that. But you basically, 2-player, you don't even need controllers for this one. So your friend will type in any word. No, that's not. It's not very responsive when pressing the letters, but it does work. So you type in any letter, or any word, you hit enter, and your friend has to figure out what that is by typing what he thinks it is. But see, if he's there and he types in a wrong letter, it'll do that. Yeah, it'll tell you you're wrong. So yeah, you see 0 to 1. Or I don't even know how that's supposed to score, but the Odyssey 2, that's a game for it. I might be reviewing some Odyssey games in greater detail, such as Pickaxe Pete, which I don't even know 100% what this is. Yeah, I'll play game number 5. I don't know if pressing like 5 or 2 on these games to where it says press any number makes a difference. Now, action button, if you hold it down, you will actually, you'll actually crawl. If you just tap it, you jump. Oh, I don't know what, this is like really creepy stuff. You can kill these balls with your giant, enormous pickaxe, which is coming out of your side. So, I'm going to have to look more into that, but I don't get how it plays. And MC Munchkins, another game which I've heard is really good. I'm surprised it's not rare, because it's only on shelves for like a year before it was pulled. I'll choose game number 1 and hope that that's the easier version. It's weird. Sometimes the screen doesn't go black, which I wonder why. I wonder if that's like a certain difficulty level, though. I'm not sure, but unlike Pac-Man, there are certain places to where you have nowhere to go. Because you know how in Pac-Man, you can always take a different route, But you see, like, right in there, you can't get out. I mean, that's just a dead end. So you can't hit dead ends, and as you see, the maze changes. So the Oddsey 2 was an interesting piece of hardware made by Magnavox. I kind of do have to bend down. But, made by Magnavox. A very interesting console. I really like it. I think it's raining. But, I think it's underrated. I think it's a great system, and I would suggest picking one up. They're only like $50, which I got that Sega CD for $120, so you will spend a little bit of money, but not nearly what you're going to spend on an NES, SNES, or even a Jaguar. I actually wonder why those are like up like $120, because the Jaguar could never compete with the Sega CD. Well, they did compete with each other, and they both failed, but who buys a Jaguar? I know, like, 32X, it was horrible, but it's in high demand, but who wants a Jaguar? I've never met a single person who wants a Jaguar, and I don't want a Jaguar. Like I've said in some of my other videos, that thing is so bad you don't want it in your home. So thank you for watching my review of the Oddsey 2.